She who thrives. Phoenix rising. The true me. The ups and downs crazy in life. So take this journey with me. She who thrives. Yeah. Good morning, sunshines, and welcome to She Who Thrives podcast, a podcast about women who have faced different adversities in life and have made it through and become successful in their own rights. And today, I want to welcome Kesha Dawson Harris.
Hello.
I wanted to invite her on for a while because she is in my world, and not everyone knows the other world that I'm in, and I'm in enrolled agent, an EA, and so is she. So she has given me more confidence to be in that world as well. But her and I have spoken around the time I was going through a divorce, so she motivated me in that time. And she, when I say about there was a question somebody will always ask, that someone asked me, was, how did you bounce back so quickly? She was the one that asked me that. Yeah.
What?
Yes, you asked me that. Okay. And ever since then, it stood in my head like, oh my God. How did I bounce back? But, I guess it was happening during tax season, so I had no choice but to bounce back. But yeah, I wanted to bring her on to see, ask her about her journey through enrolled agents world, in personal and in business. And welcome.
Thank you. I'm so honored and also very nervous at the same time.
Why?
Yeah.
I see you in our meetings and different activities in the enrolled agent world, and you're so confident.
So yeah, that's Agent K. So like that persona, absolutely. I know the authority that I walk in with that, but then in my everyday life, I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out.
Really? So are you a true introvert?
I'm one of those kind of people, like, I'm good by myself, but like I'll play in the sandbox, but then I'll take my toys and go home as well. So
I am the same way.
So yeah, talking of divorce, we've shared some stories, but I'm happy. Like, I come home at night, I'm like, this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Where it's silent and, there's peace there. So yeah, I guess I'm an introvert. What is it? An extroverted introvert?
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah.
That we can socialize as extroverts, but then when we recharge, we need to be on our
the
own.
armor comes off. There's a song by, an old song by Kathy Ciccoli, and she's like, they don't know the warrior is a child. Like, I go running home when I fall down. So yeah, Agent K is my warrior, my armor. Yeah. That comes off, and then I'm like, I'm putty.
So I'm the same way.
Okay,
I can socialize as an extrovert. I can do all of this. And usually we have either 2 shows that we record at a time or 4. Today's 4.
Ooh.
So after today, I'm drained.
Okay.
I go home and I'm just there with my fur baby, and I don't want to be bothered. I won't answer the phone besides to my boyfriend. Other than that, I do not. I am so drained. But he knows too, so he'll leave me alone. But yeah, I'm the exact same way. Like, doing social events, networking and stuff, it takes a lot of my energy.
You have to do like the whole Tony Robbins things. You have to be like, okay, let's go. Like, okay, yes, go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's do it. And it's like, okay, that is draining. Yes. It takes a lot.
Yeah.
First of all, the eyelash, like, you got to do the whole thing, and it's a whole persona. And only few people are in that circle where they get to see you without the eyelashes on, without all that extra. And those are people you hold close, which is why when you ask, how did you bounce back? Because you have a circle that is going to support the eyelashless person when all the vulnerabilities are just laying there, and there are people that respect that. So the word is resilience. That's what we have. That our inner circle keeps us resilient.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And when I was going through that, the inner circle changed basically.
Oh, girl. Listen, it became an octagon, and then it was just a triangle for right.
Oh, so. Yes, most definitely. And I had to learn who I can be my true self in front of, even my vulnerable moments, who I can be myself in front of, and who I had to be careful around, because I didn't want anyone passing judgment on me. And so it's like, you know, you and I spoke on a personal level where we met in a professional level.
Right.
Then we started talking at a personal, and not everyone not everyone can do that. I gravitated towards you because when you first seen me, I remember your expression, your facial expression. You were surprised that I was sitting there.
I was happy to see, like, when you're in these tax spaces, it's the same faces over and over. And then that was at one of our Orlando chapter meetings. And it was like, yes, who are you? And let me know everything about you. And we clicked.
Yeah.
And that is, you know, important to me, that I can meet a kindred spirit and be like, yes, okay, let's go through life, even if it's on a semi-professional level or friendship level. But the energy that you bring is amazing, and the book that you publish, and just even this event here is you're bringing a different element to taxes and to this industry that is like so black and white. There's some color there, and it's pink. The color's neon pink, but you're bringing that color there, and that's important.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course I'm going to gravitate to you. I'm 5'11". I wear 2-inch, 3-inch heels, and I walk in the room. So yeah, I'm that navigational pole right there.
And you specifically told me, be yourself.
Absolutely.
And I was like, you know, in our industry, like you said, everyone. I walked into a room and felt that judgment from other people.
Yeah, that's not your problem though.
Right. So, but I do kind of like shy away from certain events because of those people passing judgment, and I would cover myself, make sure none of my tattoos show or anything like that. And you were like, no, show it, be yourself. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna be myself.
It's funny that you say that, because if you look at older pictures of me, I hair a certain way, pearl earrings. And then it just came to the point where when I went through my divorce, it was like, you know what? I am tired of this.
Yeah.
So I went the lock route, which if you knew me, never, like, locks, am I on vacation? I'm like, no, but I have embraced them. I love them. And it doesn't change this here.
Right.
This is just how I choose to express myself on the outside. But if you want me to represent you before the IRS, if you want someone who's going to handle business, does it matter that my hair is in locks? Does it matter that I have a tattoo? Does it matter that my nose pierced? You want what's inside, not what you're seeing on the outside. So that's what I tell people. If you're judging me based on locks, that's your loss, sweetie, because there's another client lining up. So,
right.
Yeah.
And I love that, because we didn't have that. We did not. So when you say, I was like,
yeah, the blazer. I mean, I still, like, I'm conservative to a point that I don't wear pants, which is like, what? So I still have these little things about me, but I understand that that's my issue. I'm not going to judge you if you're wearing pants or if you have a tattoo. Like, I don't have that, but I've learned to accept people for being human. We're human. Let's just do this human thing, file our taxes on time, and call it a day. Like, that's what needs to happen. We're too busy looking at nose piercings and ear piercings to realize that it's this side. It's what's inside that matters. So
yeah, it's just I think what society put on us. As I know, as when I was growing up, my mom wanted me to make sure I had my hair straight and be professional and not show too many piercings and that or whatever, because of society standards and all that. And as I got older, I'm like, why? Like, my hair is curly. Let it be freaking curly. Why? For a long time, I was blow drying my hair for a very long time. So now with my hair being curly, was like I had to get the curl pattern back. And the other day, I told my boyfriend, should I leave it? Should I do it straight or should I leave it curly? He was like, you know what? Put it straight because it's more professional. That pissed me off.
Is that a box? Is that a box that you're putting me in, sir? Absolutely not.
I was like, don't you? And I rebelled against
I was like, and that would make me have it curly, like spiked up. Yeah,
I rebelled so against it. That you ever say that the straight hair is more professional than curly hair? And I just went off, and he's like, I'm sorry. But it was because he was raised that same way with that same thought process as well, where we had to basically wash off the Hispanic in us to put ourselves in this world or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna blow dry my hair no more. Right. I really don't want to blow dry my hair no more because of that. Like, I want to just leave it just myself. This is Janell. Now it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it is what it is.
We have to get out of those boxes, because the energy that you bring to the world, the message that you're bringing, Does it matter that your hair is curly if you're helping me through a crisis? Does it matter that you have a tattoo if you're helping me negotiate with the Florida Department of Revenue? Absolutely not. Like, I'm not going to be like, you know what, I'm going to just go ahead and pay these taxes because she has curly hair. That sounds insane.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we have to accept who we are at our core and just accept people are people. Just, it's too much.
So one of the things that I really wanted to shine light on is our title.
Okay.
Our designation.
You know, I love it.
So Agent K's coming up to see her. So I want to put that out there. What an enrolled agent is, because we want all those enrolled agents to come forward, and whoever's in Florida, stand up and know that we have a group to try to help each other out and be each other's backbone. I'm in a lot of groups that many people see CPA and they know CPAs, but they don't know what EA is. And some people want to go after CPA and they just want to do taxes, but they think that that's the designation that they need to go after. So
I'm not going to blame anyone, but enrolled agent, so let's just start with that. The enrolled agent is a federally licensed tax practitioner, and I hang heavy on the word federal because that means our license, I can represent a taxpayer
in all 50 states.
In all 50 states. But it's a designation from the Internal Revenue Service, the Department of Treasury. That's huge. The barriers to entry is take a 3-part exam. So this is how I explain the whole CPA. There's CPAs, and I work very well with CPAs because they are amazing at numbers and doing those type of business audits. And then I work very well with attorneys because they know the law. So the way I explain enrolled agent, we're like a hybrid. We're like when these powers combine, you get an enrolled agent. So it's like, that's why I go by Agent K, because I know that the authority that I walk in with numbers, I can read the tax return. Many CPAs, and I want to be very high level and generalized so they won't be like, I get it. We respect each other. We all have the same level of authority before the Internal Revenue Service. That's all that matters. But a lot of EAs will shy back from that. Oh, I'm not a CPA. It's not a lesser certification, a lesser license. We have to hold ourselves accountable just like they do. We have a 3-part exam we have to pass. We have CE that we have to meet every year. We're background checked like everybody else. We have standards every 3 years we have to re-enroll. There's levels to this. So CPAs, EAs, and tax attorneys, if we all work together, we would be amazing together. In DC, when we're legislating for prepare regulations, we all work together. So I'm in a building where there's 2 other CPAs, and there is zero issue. There's a big interchange of ideas because they understand where I come in. If I'm trying to present myself as an EA, then I'm out of order. I mean, as a CPA, I'm out of order. I don't present myself as a tax attorney, but I do present myself as an enrolled agent with full representation rights before the IRS. And I think it is up to us to educate the taxpayer. So as EAs, a lot of times we shy back, and this is that introvert extrovert thing. But a lot of times EAs don't know who they are, and that's the thing that gets me. We represent taxpayers. At the end of the day, I am advocating for taxpayers. I'm advocating for their right to representation because, you have the type of client that they didn't know. Right. I went to my cousin who does hair, but in the back, she does taxes, and she wrote off, my nails and my hair because occasionally I will, post something on Instagram. Yeah. And it's like that person is now in trouble because someone who was an unenrolled preparer has given them tax advice, which they were out of order. And it's up to us to explain why you need to check their credentials, check who's signing your tax return, the whole list that we go through. But enrolled agents, we always, we're lesser than. No, we're not. The only reason I'm third on the power of attorney because it's alphabetical order. Attorney, CPA, enrolled agent. If it was anything else, enrolled agents would be first because our designation comes from the IRS. Right. So it's up to us to tell people who we are. And so, we didn't do like an introduction of who I am, but I sit on the national board. I'm a director on the National Association of Enrolled Agents. I was Florida president, Orlando chapter president for like 3 or 4 years, and then the state of Florida president for Florida Society of Enrolled Agent for I would think it was 2020 or 21. And then just last Saturday was reinstalled
as president of Florida. And
the-
she appointed me as the Orlando chapter president.
Yes.
So it's been very difficult because I've sent out the emails. No one wanted, I haven't received any feedback, which I'm going to send out another email to try to do a wellness check-in with everyone in Orlando. So this main thing is just to let people know that, you know, we need more people and fresh faces as enrolled agents to come on.
The average EA in the state of Florida is like 65 years old. Yeah. So you and I are like newborn babies compared to that. Well, not me, but I'm at least a teenager. But as EAs, you don't do what I do. So like, you know, I will, if it's a state audit, you know, you need to call Janell. Like, I know the level that what I can handle. And that's why we work. Most of us are solo practitioners. We have to team up together to help each other. But everybody wants to stay in their own little box. There are things that we can learn from each other as an enrolled agent community. So the Orlando chapter is huge because we span like most of Central Florida area. So and it's a lot, but for you to make a call and get 3 people to show up, it's like there's almost 700 enrolled agents in the state of Florida. We should have more people showing up at events. So I think with the new changes that are coming around from national to the state affiliates, that more people will show up. We want to hear. So if you want to know about like where we meet at our chapter, you know, get with Janell. But on the state level, absolutely, I am here for everybody. And then fly in. The biggest thing is advocacy, whether it's for each other or for our taxpayers, but being able to sit down and talk. The biggest thing, the enrolled agent designation allows us to represent taxpayers. And part of that, as enrolled agents, when we go to DC and we talk about what happens in our state. In Florida, we have huge identity theft. The signs on the side of the road where anybody's doing taxes. You know, like, hey, random stranger, here is my kid's social security number, birth certificate.
Because I want to have this $10,000 for my 3 kids.
$10,000, right. And then on the backside, then, you know, they come back because they've been audited. But now you don't have the money to pay true representation.
Right.
And that's disheartening. So Florida, like the biggest thing is I'm definitely fighting for preparer regulation in the state of Florida. That needs to happen.
It has to happen because there's so many, like you said, they're writing off nails, there's hair or an outfit for the photo shoots that.
How about the G-Wagon thing takes me out every single time. I'm like,
how
first of all.
Those TikToks that about the G-Wagon or whatever it is, but
the LLCs that are in a trust that are then, you know, it's like, get true tax advice. Right. Get a team around you. Like when people ask me about entity formation, I'm like, that's law. You need an attorney. I mean, some CPAs and EAs will say, oh, we do that. But really to understand, to get the formation of the entity, that's tax law. And then you have an enrolled agent who'll do that. So if you have your team, to collectively as a group, we'll be like, okay, this is when you get the G-Wagon. You can't sell Tupperware. I don't even mean to say Tupperware because I don't want anybody coming for us.
Right.
But you can't sell like something out of your house and then, you know, you're made $1,000, but now that translates into a G-Wagon. Like, make it make sense.
Make it make sense. A G-Wagon is what, like $200,000?
I don't know because it's a car at the end of the day, to me.
No, I know, but the whole numbers part for people to understand payments. With one is the payments. You can't afford a payment if you're only doing the $1,000 in revenue a month. It's just not. It's not gonna.
But I'm
feasible.
writing off the mileage. So when I take my kids to school and I give them the teacher a business card, that's a tax write-off. And I'm like, but was there an intent to make business? You know, like, was there a conversation? What happened? You just passing out business cards while you're at lunch? And no, that's not how we do business.
So in TikTok and all of that stuff, they talk about the G-Wagon, writing off the whole G-Wagon because it's over 6,000 pounds and all of that stuff.
Right.
Okay.
The tonnage.
It all depends. Everything always depends on certain situations. Not everybody can do it. And there's certain stipulations behind certain write-offs.
Right.
Is what I tell people.
There's rules. Here's where we make our mistake in a lot of our communities is that we hear it's like a game of Uno. If I come to your house and play Uno with your friends, our spades, you have your own list of house rules. And at my house, we have but then there's the official rules that comes with the Uno cards. So when you're going to these people that are, not everybody, but most people that are on social media giving tax advice, those are their house rules.
Right.
Those aren't the official Internal Revenue Code, Internal Revenue Manual rules. And you need to get with someone who is going to abide by the rules. So I love TikTok, but it is for entertainment purposes only. Like scroll, laugh, yeah, purchase, ha ha ha, comment and leave. I am not writing down tax advice.
There's one, and I don't want to say the name of it, but there's one. It's a software that says what the IRS doesn't want you to know, that you can write off this and this and this. And it's a list that they're saying in this video.
Right.
And it irritates me all the time because it's wrong information. What do you do when you see that? Do you just ignore it, or do you comment on things?
So sometimes, it depends on what mood I'm in, but sometimes I'll write, as an enrolled agent, I approve this message. Or as an enrolled agent, I don't approve. I'll make a comment like that because it's, TikTok is for me to have fun. I'm not really judging what people are posting. It's like I said, like, whatever. But if it's just so egregious, I will make a comment about it. Like, please stop. So I don't know if you know this, but I worked for a tax resolution. I worked for one of those companies. Do you owe $10,000 or less to the IRS, blah, blah, blah. I know how it works. And it does not favor the taxpayer.
It favors the company.
It favors the company. And what people don't understand is that when you call, you are talking to a sales guy, and he may have some fancy, I'm the tax resolution specialist extraordinaire grand wizard. That is not a title with the Internal Revenue Service. That is not someone who can represent you before the IRS. It's not happening. But we are so caught up on titles. Are you this, are you that? Yeah. Again, looking at the outside of someone and not hearing. So this person is telling you, you owe $100,000 and we could make it disappear. But challenge it. We're just, okay, well, take my 30, 40, whatever they're charging, and then they get blindsided. And then we hear the sob stories. Like, oh, I didn't know. They'll find out later. That's not fair to me. That now I sit here and now I have to debunk all the stuff that you read on TikTok or debunk all that you heard with the sales guy. Yeah. I want taxpayers to be more educated because your tax return is such an intimate thing. When you're not only are you giving out your personal information, but if you have an illness and you're writing off a lot of medical, I know that. Like I see people that I do their taxes. I never even, of course we're never disclosing it, but I'm like, wow, they're really going through some things that your tax professional knows. We know if your house was in foreclosure. I know who qualified and who didn't. So even when I'm in a dinner table with people and I prepare their taxes and I'll hear them say something, I'll be like, nah, girl, I'll just
keep eating. Yeah.
Because we both know. But at the end of the day, the way we select our tax preparers should not be based on how much money we're getting back.
Right.
It should not be based on, that preparer should be educating you, walking through your return. I walk through my return with all my clients, even if it's over video. Walking through the return, explaining the numbers, because if tomorrow I decide I'm taking this EA cape off and you're audited.
And they don't have a clue.
Under penalty of perjury, that's on you, boo. So when they come in there and I'll get a new client and they're like, oh, my prepared. And I was like,
Don't blame it on
them. Under this little line, I highlighted, under penalty of perjury, that's you. So you hold the person that you're paying $500-$600. I've seen crazy numbers. You hold that person. If you receive something at McDonald's and it was incorrect, you turn around and go back. Oh, my fillet of fish isn't right. Same way with your taxpayer. Why is my return done in pencil and why does it say self-prepared?
They don't realize that though.
But that's
and
they don't
because they don't look. Yeah, they don't look at it. There was one that actually came in, and the reason why I want to talk about it too, because there's a lot of women that are on here listening, and they're independent contractors and things like that. So I want them to be very aware of what's happening, especially if they're getting into business and being business owners. You need to be very aware of it, because I have received quite a few last year that they came in and they're like, well, I send them my stuff and they do whatever and I sign it and just keep it moving. I've been with them forever. I'm like, okay. So I was like, you own a business? No. Well, your preparer said you own a business. So what business do you own? And they're like, I never own a business. Okay, so they wrote off this. Then they're like, oh my God, where? You're supposed to pay attention to your tax return. This is how people, because there's so many people be like, oh, well, my preparer got me this amount. Well, I'm going to tell you this. If we're both doing it the correct way, we're going to come out with the same exact number. No matter who you go to, if it's correct, it's going to be the same number. That person can do something that I can't do if it's legal. So if they're giving you something more and you only have a W-2, nothing else, that means there's a Schedule C somewhere in there that you don't know about.
Or the big thing in Florida is that fuel credit.
I don't understand that one. How are they?
Because it's not
How are they doing that?
They're just putting a number in there. It makes 0 cents, and they'll just add fuel credit. And if I look at the return, and I can't figure out what, I'll flip back and I'll be like, fuel credit.
Mine, biggest one has been the Schedule C. I haven't seen the fuel credit. I'm vigilant now. I want to see if it's in any returns that I'm coming across now. But it's been the Schedule Cs. They write off so many things. And one came to me like, you know what? I gave it to my mortgage broker to try to get a house, but they told me I don't make any money, but I know I make money. I was like, let me see your return.
Right. And
that's what it was. Whoever it was deducting all of this stuff, and they had no clue. You need to really pay attention to this.
Here's the end game. So 2 situations. I had a client who her previous preparer was writing everything off and she wanted to qualify for a home. And I was like, look, you own a business. You're not paying self-employment taxes. In order for you to qualify for a home, you have to show that you're bringing in some type of income after taxes. So I was like, let's do this the correct way. And we did her returns the correct way. Yes, she owed the IRS. She was able to pay it, or some of the years she had refunds, but she was able to qualify for a house. Fast forward to now, I just finished an audit in December where the client was a S corp, and his preparer was paying him $22,000 salary, but huge distributions. Well, he's now ready to retire, and this man was making over $300,000 a year. But with a W-2 of $22,000, I said, do me a favor, go and pull your Social Security to see how much you'll be receiving. And he was livid because as we get older, our tax situation looks different. So being in my 50s, I'm now looking how my life will look in 10, 20 years if Social Security is around.
Right.
What does that look like? And I need to be preparing for that. But if I have somebody that's writing off everything and not contributing to 401k and not putting in an IRA and not planning for retirement, but I'm balling out with a big tax refund, that doesn't benefit me down the long way. I have clients that children are now starting to age out. Children are going to college. We need to constantly be preparing for that. If you're constantly looking for a refund, your mindset is off. You need to change your mindset and be more accountable. And yes, I put it on the preparers all the time. But at the end of the day, it's me. I need to be responsible, and the accountability is on me to handle, make sure, challenge. Like I said, we will challenge a server. We'll keyboard people all day on Facebook and Instagram, but you'll let somebody do your tax return in pencil and pay them $1,500 and walk away and just be so happy, and you're out of order. Handle your own business, walk in your own authority, and take possession of your tax return, because again, under penalty of perjury, that preparer might be gone. They fold up their chair and their little foldable table.
And you won't find them.
And then you come to me or someone like you, and then it's a problem. And my thing is, the accountability is on you. It's not cute, especially women, because we're just so used to, oh, well, my man handles that. My man. Girl, no, absolutely not. How many women get divorced and are clueless? Yeah. I have a friend going through divorce now. She had no idea. She just blindly signed the tax returns. And I was like, you never asked where the refund was? And I'm not, saying that she, didn't know to do that. It's just that we blindly trust people, which is okay. And we blindly trust professionals. Say, well, I thought you're a professional. But when the girl is retwisting my hair, every now and then I'm like, let me see the mirror. Like, you need to double check. Like, I don't know everything about doing my hair, but I know when it looks right. So when you're sitting before your preparer and they're like doing all this extra stuff and you're like, where did this number come from? What does head of household mean? Oh, that means that, oh, but I don't have any children, so why are you claiming me head of household? Oh, you need to challenge the numbers on your return. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm paying you. You're providing a service. And don't just blindly trust me. I tell my clients, Google what I say, because I might be having a bad day and I might just be saying something. Google what I'm saying.
That is so true.
Yeah, it's like today, be like, yeah, you can write it off.
I said that?
Yeah.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah. Google what I say. Don't blindly trust me. I'm human at my core. I'm a human.
Right.
I do this for a living and I absolutely love it. But if I'm not here tomorrow, will you be able to stand 10 toes down on your own tax return and know that this was done accurately? And be like, oh yeah, I have confidence in my preparer. Because I won't even take clients. If you come in and you're telling me how to do my job.
I refuse. I'm like, you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Self-do it then.
Look, appointment declined. Like, no.
Yeah, especially the ones that are looking for that biggest refunds. I don't, can you give me an estimate? Nope. I'm not doing estimate. I'm not doing that.
Or they'll say, could you look at this and tell me, I am very confident in what I do for a living. I've been doing taxes for 20 plus years. I've been an enrolled agent for 7 years. I know what I'm doing. If you don't have the confidence in my ability to do a job and then together we work through this, I'm not the person for you, because you're not going to like how I talk to you. Because for one, I'm gonna wear green. I might a little bit of orange, but I'm not wearing a full orange jumpsuit. I do not look good
in orange.
In
I
orange.
tell people I'm too pretty to go to jail.
I'm
guys.
not. I will rat you out first. I will report. Look, I'm reporting you. Like, absolutely not. Yeah, but it all boils down to accountability.
Yeah.
And it all boils down to, yes, I have a trusted advisor, but I'm gonna double check what they're saying to me.
Yeah.
Check the credentials. Again, CPA, enrolled agent, tax attorney. I don't know a lot of tax attorneys that actually do tax returns. They hire.
I don't think so. They may have someone on
They
staff.
might have a staff. I used to work for a tax attorney, and she had me, and then she had a CPA. So again, those of us in the profession, we know who
to work with.
So it's up to us to educate the taxpayer, but it's also up to the taxpayer to do their due diligence to make sure that let me go on the IRS website and see if this person is legit. You know what? You could just Google somebody. You could just go on Instagram and type in someone's name. Do your due diligence and make sure, like, this person, they're legit, or this person, Yeah, but we don't do that. We're just, again, mindset. It's about a mindset, and it's about holding ourselves accountable. Taxes is real business. We're trying to buy houses. We're trying to put our kids through college. We're trying to do all these things, and we're reporting to the government. And here's the thing, and I don't know if you've noticed, but since December, the IRS is on their game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, stuff last year that I wasn't able, like, I can literally log on now and see
everything on there.
Everything. I can see all my power of attorney where, we've been fighting for that for years, to be able to go online and instant access to taxpayers' records. So that tells me that the IRS is handling business. But here we are in these streets still going to our cousin behind the 7-Eleven doing taxes.
Because they've been getting away with it this whole entire time.
Just
like the ERC that they've been getting away with it for a very long time.
But how fast did that happen? Yeah. It was like, look, we're going to give you some amnesty. So all you liars, because some of you were just flat out lying with this employee retention credit, you know what? We're gonna turn our back, and you can turn yourself in. So that tells me they're moving faster.
Yeah.
The money that we that we're paying, and everybody was like, oh, defund the IRS. Well, until you defund them, until you want to do a flat tax, Governor DeSantis, or whatever it is that he has in mind, the IRS is handling business. And CP 504s came out not too long ago, and my clients are calling me. I'm like, I've been telling you to make your payments, and you've ignored it. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
Handle business. Like, some of it is on us to tell people who we are, how we can help them, how we can advocate for them. But at the end of the day, the taxpayer needs to step in and have their own level of responsibility too. Yeah. So it's like perfect timing, because it's coming out on February 9th. So this is like right there where tax season, and everybody, some of us are going to be very busy. Some of us are going to be just coasting. I don't get busy in the beginning because I don't deal with people that have the refund mentality. There's very little, and there's probably just
because I've dealt with them for so many years, but they, whatever. But I get busier towards the ending because of the business taxes and stuff like that. That's what I deal with too. But doing more of the representation on my end.
Yay.
But I'm also trying to just deal with different business owners in the area that they have no clue about taxes, none whatsoever, and trying to incorporate that with, the CFO part that I'm dealing with, because I'm dealing a lot with CFO in the beauty industry, and just making sure everything it's all hand in hand, business income with the
and
taxes.
It's needed.
And all
it's needed.
So this is where I'm at.
Right.
But it's like, it took me my journey to get to where I'm at now with all of that. What made you want to be in the tax world?
So, look, flashback. So my son's father, my first husband, was in the military. We lived in Germany. So I'm a military brat, and I married a gentleman in the military. And I've always, bored with the baby, this is back in the day when tax forms were by colors. So I've always done our taxes. I would do our friends. 19 years old, I'm doing everybody's taxes.
Oh, you were doing the paper
The paper
pen.
old school from Germany. So we're mailing tax returns back, and who knows, this is like no direct deposit. It's like one day your tax check was
What year was that?
My son was born in 91, so in the early 90s.
I was what?
Don't say it.
I was born in 80, so I was like 11.
Okay, right. So, started doing taxes that way. We left Germany and we ended up moving to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and was doing taxes there. And then my husband comes home one day and he says, "There's a guy that's doing people's taxes and they're getting all this money back." And even at 19, I was like, I'm reading Pub 17, so I have limited tax knowledge. I haven't taken a class, but I'm like, you can't do that. So the story was his friend was claiming the girlfriend's kids, and I was like, you can't do that. So I was like, I'll tell you what, you go ahead and go, and you can take Daniel, you can claim him, and then I'll just file, because this was before the Military Spousal Act, so I had to file a separate return for the state of Oklahoma, and so he files, he gets his tax return back, and I laugh about it now. We end up going, he's like, when I get my tax return, we're going to Red Lobster. That's why I know the mentality. So he cashed his check at Sears. And
oh my
we
God.
went out on a date with his friend. We went on a couple's date to Red Lobster. That was the thing. But fast forward a couple of months, we're watching TV, and the Alphabet Boys, FBI, IRS, are raiding this little house. And I call my ex-husband Jenkins. That's his last name. And Jenkins was like, "That's where I got my taxes done." And that whole thing happened. So we end up going before the IRS. There was a hangar. I remember going to they had all these desks and tables, and we had to go. Now, remember, we had filing separate that year. So we meet with the IRS agent, and they're like, "Oh, because of the whatever happened." Again, I don't even remember anymore. We had to pay the money back. They said we had to file a joint tax return. And I was like, "But why? You don't get to ask why. This is just how it's done." What? So even at 19, I was like, "No, I'm not believing this." So it was like, I'm gonna find a way to get back. So I did. Fast forward, I started working at H&R Block, and I was like, "There's more to this." Like, when you do taxes and you love it, it's like there's more to this. There's more to this. And then I learned about enrolled agents, because I worked at the time, it was a premium H&R Block premium office. I met enrolled agents, was like, yeah. And then one year I went to an IRS tax forum, and Florida Society of Enrolled Agents was there. Tony and that crew was there, and they had a meeting, and they were like, "We want to know if anybody wants to be an enrolled agent." And I was like, "Absolutely not. Like, I don't have the knowledge for that." Well, my friend was like, "I want to go." So I said, "I'll go with you, girl. Like, I don't want to," but that was it. Like, bug was bitten. And even now, like, I saw her recently, it's been about 5 or 6 years. And I was like, "I'm an enrolled agent." And she was like, "What?" So I started learning, it's like, I don't want to be an enrolled agent. I'll just do annual filing season prepare. Back then I forgot what the designation was before. But you had to take the test, but I forget what it was called.
I can't remember.
It was another designation. And I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." And I was also doing health insurance. So then they started talking about insurance through the marketplace and how you had to reconcile it on your taxes. And I was like, I need to be able to help people with this.
Right.
But I was sending all my resolution clients to another preparer, to other EAs. And my clients would come back and be like, they just took my money and they couldn't even help me. They didn't know what to do. And I was like, well, why wouldn't they know what to do? They had to just call the IRS and do da-da-da. And it started making me angry because there were people who were supposed to be helping you and representing you and talking
And they
for
take
you.
advantage
And they were taking advantage of you. So I was like, the only way I'm going to be able to help people is if I go
Designation,
I get the designation, I go get the S on my chest, I go get the cape. So at the time I was working for a local union, learning, helping with negotiations and that sort of thing. And so I had the free time, started studying, passed my enrolled agent designation. And from there, it's been like, okay, I worked for a tax attorney briefly. Then I worked for the tax resolution company, which just like took me to a whole nother level. So I tell my clients, I understand, like I have people, even my office is a therapy session.
Yeah.
People come in there, they cry. I get it. Let's get it corrected. So my company at one time was Money Makeovers. About 2 years ago when I went through my divorce and went through this whole transformation, I changed it to Resilient Tax Group. Because we are resilient as people, we're resilient as taxpayers. You may go through this whole situation, but we're going to bounce back. And so that is what I'm here for, to speak up for the taxpayer, against the people who did them wrong, which sometimes is other taxpayers, but also to help them handle their business with the Internal Revenue Service. And that is what an enrolled agent, we are representing, we're advocating for taxpayers. And if we don't do that, then we're kind of missing the whole point of getting this designation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I like to deal with the ones that I know are not taking advantage of taxpayers, because you come across that all the time. It's like, and I try not to badmouth anyone. I really try not to. I'd be like, you know what? I think you need to really get a second opinion on that. And I don't want to be biased
and
or
we're
whatever.
bound by that. I have to tell you, you know what? I reviewed this return. There is some discrepancies. I have to make you aware of them. And sometimes people are like, I'm good.
Right.
Okay. I have to make sign this that I told you.
Right. I do. And then, they do whatever they want to do. But I became an enrolled agent because I was mentality of being a CPA.
Okay.
And coming down from Illinois to Florida, some of my credits from Illinois did not transfer over to Florida for CPA, to sit on the CPA. So they wanted me to take different classes or whatever. It was my business law class. They counted it as the same one. So I need another business law class and I think 2 more accounting classes.
Okay.
And mind you, I have a master's in financial, MBA and a master's in financial accounting and financial management. So I have a lot of accounting.
Like, why am I going back to school?
Right. They didn't want to count some of them that were there. So I was like, I don't want to do that. So I became an auditor for the state of Florida.
Okay.
And that's where I learned enrolled agent, because I had no clue what an enrolled agent was. Yeah.
Okay.
So when we had the documentation that they signed, the power of attorney, that they're designated to an enrolled agent, that I looked, I was like, what's an enrolled agent?
Who are these mystical creatures?
Right. So I asked my coworker, I was like, what's an enrolled agent? So she explained it to me because her husband is a CPA.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay. So I started learning because I was teeter-tottering if I was going to go back to school, because working for the state, I would be able to go to UCF for free.
Okay. Go Knights.
So I took a class, but it wasn't even for that. I took a Spanish business class. That's what I did. But I was like, should I just go ahead and go for accounting classes or whatever? But when they told me about the enrolled agent, I was like, maybe that's the route that I should take. So I ended up leaving the state, opening up my own firm and stuff like that, and then went on the journey of doing the enrolled agent. I bombed the business test, but life was happening, and I couldn't really focus on doing that or whatever. And then COVID happened, and it just prolonged it or whatever. But that was my journey. But I tell it too because a lot of people don't know what the enrolled agent is, and they automatically want to go become a CPA. And it's like, you don't have to. What is it that you want to do?
That part. Because the thing about it is most CPAs, this is a second career. Like I haven't, taxes was always my little side hustle. I've had a career in other things. And so do I really want to go back to school and do the additional accounting classes and then sit and be an intern and, all that fun stuff? No. So the barriers to entry to be an enrolled agent is, you still need to have the CE. You still need to pass the 3-part exam.
Right.
But it's not as strenuous as going through the CPA. It doesn't mean your authority is not valid. It doesn't mean you need to know what you're talking about. You just can't. It's not a certificate you hang on the wall. It is earned, absolutely earned. Yeah. But that might be another option. So I hired one of my staff members from before. He was bored and was like, I saw this enrolled agent and started studying. Could not do a tax return, but passed the exam. And so now he's going back learning how to do tax returns because, there's some people that are great test takers. Right. But if you are, the enrolled agent credential is perfect for someone who, has a little bit of that tax background and they really want to get into the industry. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they work at a law firm or maybe they work for a CPA and they want to add that level of authority. Mm-hmm. It's all about that next level. Leveling Up is our state conference coming up, and it's Level Up. So if you want to level up and you want to know more about being an enrolled agent, Janell and I, that's what we're here for.
Yes, that's what we're here for.
You can never have too many EAs in the room.
No. And you know what? We don't compete against each other. We bounce ideas off of each other. I'll call her, be like, listen, I got this case in front of me, and sometimes we probably need to even talk it out.
Yeah.
Like we know the answer. We just needed to talk it out with somebody. Be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or she just gives me a different idea, a different route that I probably wouldn't have thought of unless I had called her. So we don't compete against each other. And our offices are pretty close to each other too.
But we're colleagues, not competitors. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes this credential beautiful because I don't have your knowledge, your background. Mm-hmm. I've lived a different life, but my experience has helped make my practice what it is.
Right.
So if I get something that's a little quirky, especially as soon as they say the Florida Department of Revenue, I'm like, oh, that's Janell. Like, I don't even want to look at it. I don't even think about, and I'll be like, I sent you some referrals.
Right.
Because I know where, what I do really well. And I only do the cases that I know that I do really well. And then I refer them out to someone else because everybody has their niche. So if we all work together, everybody eats. Mm-hmm. Everybody eats.
There's plenty
and the taxpayer benefits.
Yeah, there's plenty of work for everybody. So our time is short. Yes. It's already coming to the end, and I appreciate you coming on.
I'm honored, so honored. Like
I'm
you have
so
no
happy.
idea.
I'm so happy I met you, honestly, because I don't even think I would be involved in the FSEA or anything if it wasn't because of you. But with all of that, seriously, I probably would not have. With all of that and everything that you have gone through, we didn't even go too in depth within your personal world.
That's probably best. I told you nothing was
I'm gonna bring you back for personal side.
Yeah.
But right now, I think it was suited at this time with taxes and everything.
Absolutely.
For us to talk about enrolled agent, and also because we want to attract more enrolled agents into Florida.
More credentialed tax preparers. We have our fly-in coming up. When we go to fly-in, we are talking to Congress about regulations and different things that's going on in the prepare world.
When is that?
It's May 17th. I think it's May 21st or something. Don't quote me on that. Okay. But in the state of Florida, we have so much going on, and you and I here in Orlando, we know. Like I see those signs on the road, and it makes me cringe.
Yeah, I still see a lot of preparers that are not, they don't have any credentials, and the things that are saying, and it's just like.
But if you want to be, sometimes you just don't know.
Right. So. With all of that, this is one question that I do ask everybody.
Okay.
Do you feel successful?
Absolutely. Because if I can get my eyelashes on and make it out the door.
I can't put lashes for the life of me.
That's what I'm saying.
I've tried. It just doesn't.
I'm successful because the life that I live is a life that I've created, not on my own, but learning to let go of things and just allowing myself to be human. And that,
That's awesome.
And with that, there's no stress. I wear this bracelet that says peace. If there's no peace in it, I don't want to do it. If I'm not happy, I don't want to do it. I've learned to let those things go. I've learned to forgive quickly. And I think sometimes we hold on to things and we rehash the stories of my husband left me and my dog got ran over a car. All of that is a true story. But
I didn't know about that.
Girl, that requires that's Janell After Dark, those conversations. But we learn that we're resilient. We let it go and we forgive quickly, and then we move on. And we have peace. So I am definitely at peace. So yes, I'm successful because I'm smiling, and the eyelashes are on like they need to be.
I need to learn to put the eyelashes on. But thank
Look,
you
and then
so
you'll
much.
be like, I've made it. I'm at the
Right.
mountaintop.
I'm gonna try, guys. I'm gonna get it. But thank you so much again
you.
for coming.
Yes.
And thank you guys for who tuned in on podcast and on YouTube. And thank you so much. Please like, share, review, and subscribe. Please subscribe. But also the reviews. I'm really reading the reviews so that way I can see who I'm gonna bring on next. And until next time, bye.